All right, here's my 2015 Honda Fit. I want to show you my or do a review on the Megan Racing. See right there, Megan Racing sway bars. So here's the rear sway bar. Let's see in the front. Let's see if we can see it in the front. Oh, you know, I can't see anything in the front. Maybe back in here. Yeah, if you can't tell, it's hard to tell. Actually, you might be able to see it from. Oh yeah, you could see it from up here, right in there. See the blue? The blue right there. So that's the front sway bar. So I've had this for I think about a year now, maybe a little bit longer than a year. The sway bars, and they definitely flatten out the turning. Now they're not as fat as, you know, the Megan Racing on my Miata. I also have Megan Racing on the Miata as well. And why I like Megan Racing sway bars is because they use rubber bushings instead of polyurethane, so they're not noisy. The thing with polyurethane is no matter what you do, they will always get noisy. They will always squeak, and that's just too annoying for street use. And you have to, you know, to prevent that, you have to grease them. And when you grease them, you have to grease them like all the time, literally all the time, like every few weeks. If you drive regularly, you have to grease them like every few weeks to prevent them from getting noisy. That's just way too much work. So anyways, yeah. So this is not as flat as the Miata one, but also other reason why I like the Megan Racing is that they're not too stiff. So they do have a little bit of give, and you know, they're adjustable. So they're adjustable, so they could be more comfortable and could be as sporty, but at the same time they're not too stiff where they become uncomfortable. And also that if you get too stiff with sway bars, what happens is as you're turning, you know, you're going side to side, you know, the car is swaying side to side, leaning side to side. Sometimes when it's too stiff, sway bars are too stiff, what happens is you actually lose mechanical grip. So you want a certain amount of lean, because, you know, when you're, let's say I'm making a left-hand turn, and the car is, when you make a left-hand turn, the car is actually leaning towards the outside. That lean basically it shifts weight towards the outside, and that's where your traction is too, is on the outside. Sometimes when it's too fat, it doesn't lean as much, not as much pressure or weight on the outside, so you actually lose a little bit of grip. So basically, you know, if sway bars is too stiff, you lose mechanical grip. Is the bottom line. And I had that in the Miata. You know, I had 3 sets of different sway bars. I had Racing Beat sway bars. I had Cusco. So actually, Cusco was really good too. I like Cusco's, but on the Cusco's, on that one, it wasn't adjustable. It was one setting only. Then I also had the Megan Racing, and the Megan Racing and Kugo's, stiffness wise, they were comparable on my Miata. So anyways, back to the losing mechanical grip, like the other Racing Beat. That one was also adjustable, 3 different settings, if I can remember right. Even on the softest setting, it was just way too stiff. And when I took hard turns, I actually had less traction. It would slide out on me. And that's what the softest setting, I would actually lose mechanical grip. And I played around with all the settings, you know, trying stiffer in the front, softer in the back, but it's still, I would still get I would either get too much oversteer or too much understeer. It basically just you know, you can feel it losing grip. So when I went to softer sway bars, it actually I was actually able to corner faster, even though, you know, it leaned a little bit more. But anyways, back to these on this car. So yeah, so that's why I chose Megan Racing. So here's the front tire right now, and I actually rotated this tire probably about 1,000 miles ago. So it's still pretty, life-wise, it's still pretty good. But let's look at it. What I want to show you guys is, and actually it's kind of worn down a little bit. But look at right here. You see how there's like a little bit of an angle, right? So the bad thing about this car is that the alignment adjustment wise, you don't have much adjustment. There's not, there's like hardly any camber adjustment at all. I think it only has like, I believe it only has about negative, at most is -5 camber. So there's like hardly any alignment adjustment at all. And that's unfortunately that's true with most all modern cars now. There's hardly any alignment adjustments on them at all. So let's look at the rear one. It's kind of hard to tell because of the angle. But you see the rear one here, there's less of an angle. It's all rounded. So these tires were in the front for a while. For most of this past year, they were in the front. Then only the last last couple months, I rotated them. And basically, I've been, ever since I got the Swaybar, I've been cornering a lot harder. And when since you don't have much of alignment adjustment, all that forces are basically on the outside corner or outside edge of the corner of the tire, and they just wore out. they just rounded it out. They just wore them out. So I really can't see this. Let's see if we can see the side thread on here. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but here you can actually still see an angle. Again, it's hard to tell. Yeah, there's dog piss right here. Dog piss. So here you can see it's hard to tell for you guys. I think is you see somewhat of an angle, and there's a lot of tread life over here on the side. But on this side here, it's all rounded out, and it's all it's all basically like right in here. It's almost bald right here, and over here there's plenty of tread right here. So this Swaybars is cornering hard. It definitely wore out the outside more than the rear. Excuse me, more than the inside, and that's from hard cornering. So that's the unfortunate thing about this car, and it has nothing to do with the Swaybars per se. It's just this car. This car doesn't have much alignment adjustment at all. And again, that's how most modern cars are. Most modern cars, there's like no alignment adjustment. It's like you could barely, there's hardly any camber adjustment at all. So you can't really adjust cambers too much. I think at the most, like I said, the most they have, most modern cars is about half a degree, and that's about it. That's like nothing. I think there's a tiny bit of caster. Same thing with caster and toe. Just a tiny bit. It's hardly any adjustment at all with modern cars, unless you have something like that's specifically made to be sporty and very adjustable, like the Miata. That car has full adjustment on alignment, so it's really good. But most other cars don't. Even like, for example, a competitor to the Miata is the BRZ 86 Subaru Toyota twins. Even that car doesn't have the alignment is not that it's more than this car has, but it's not as much adjustment as compared to the Miata. But anyways, so that's the basically year in review of having the Megan Racing Swaybars. So I really like them. I think they make the car handle definitely better, less roll, flatter, but there's still a little bit of enough roll that you don't. If someone was to drive this car, and they never driven this car before and didn't know how much lean or sway there was, they would think that it was normal. They wouldn't notice much of a difference. They would think it was just stock. That's how it was from the factory. So that's one of the things I like about this setup. And again, the Megan Racing is it's not that stiff, but I do have both the front and rear set on the stiffest setting. So I actually never tried the softest setting. I just straight up, when I first put it on, I just straight up left it in the stiffest setting, and I felt that like it was perfect. And I think the reason why it didn't feel that stiff to me was, again, compared to my Miata, the Miata Swaybars, same Megan Racing as well, is definitely stiffer and flatter than this car is. Okay, thanks for watching.